Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of the Monday Night Raw Review. I'm your host, the Invincible E. Vincent. This show is brought to you by UnifiedWrestling.com and 123wrestling.co.uk. Tonight's show took place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This was pretty much a biggie. Again, everybody's waiting for WrestleMania 28 to kick in with bated breath, and this is just one more step closer. Tonight's show started out with CM Punk coming out to the ring and telling everybody that Chris Jericho wasn't going to be there. There was sort of a review of what happened last week when Chris Jericho came out with information about CM Punk's father, that CM Punk's his father had a history of alcohol abuse when CM Punk was a kid. That was part of the reason why CM Punk turned out to become straight edge. Now, CM Punk said that Chris Jericho only told half the story, that his father had gone through great trouble to get over his addiction to alcohol, and he had gone on to become a better man since that time, and that Chris Jericho was basically just trying to get into his head prior to their match that's coming up at WrestleMania 28. Now, while he was talking, Jericho popped up on the Tron, and he went on to say that he was right, and he wasn't going to say anything else about CM Punk's father from now on. His sister, on the other hand, he brought up information about CM Punk's sister having had a substance abuse problem, and he said that when people have substance abuse problems, they can pretty much do anything that they can in order to get their hands on some drugs or some substances to abuse, and that he was going to persist in trying to get into CM Punk's head. He said that there was a pattern there. You know, the father had some issues, the sister had some issues, and he wants to go ahead and drive CM Punk to drink. And that's what he said is his stated goal, and he's going to continue to try and hammer away at CM Punk leading up to WrestleMania. Now, following that, we went into match number 1. This was Kane versus Big Show. Now, this went on pretty quickly. Kane actually got to Big Show and came out of this match the winner with a choke slam. But what followed after that was, while Big Show was basically trying to gather his wits, Cody Rhodes got him with the beautiful disaster kick and followed up with grabbing some handcuffs and handcuffing Big Show to the ring ropes, and then proceeding to a la Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather at the previous WrestleMania. He started beating Big Show about the head and neck with boxing gloves on, and basically Big Show couldn't free himself, so he just beat on him until he collapsed. Now the refs came to see about him. Big Show tried to get up, but couldn't. And after that, they moved on to the next segment. They basically went to commercial and came back with the next match. Following that, match number 2, we had Santino Marella versus David Otunga. Now, again, this is the assistant to the GM of SmackDown going against the assistant to the GM of Raw once again. And this match basically started off as sort of a pose-off. As David Otunga comes out, poses. Santino Marella tries to match him pose for pose. It tries to pose and actually pulls. It looks like he pulls a hammy in his leg. And David Otunga follows up with the attack. And after the match goes on back and forth for a little bit, David Otunga gets Santino basically as he's distracted while he's pretty much smashing John Laurinaitis' BlackBerry that wound up in the ring as John Laurinaitis jumped up on the apron to try and distract Santino. And so David Otunga wound up as the winner of this match. Now, after this match, Teddy Long and John Laurinaitis started pushing back and forth again, and Teddy Long basically slapped John Laurinaitis in the face, and then basically made a run for it and ran back up the ramp. Once he got up to the top of the ramp, his music played, and he got his little boogie on for a hot second, and then they went ahead and went on to The Rock, as The Rock made his salute to Philadelphia. And he talked about how when he was 12 years old, he came there and he saw the statue of Rocky Balboa and they showed a picture of him posing with the statue, and he said that it inspired him to become the best of all time. And 1 year after that, that was when they had the first WrestleMania. Went on to review some WrestleMania history with folks like Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, and Macho Man Randy Savage, etc. He spoke about years later after that. He went on to headline in WrestleMania against Stone Cold. First time around, did not get the win. He lost to Stone Cold, but that just made him want to go back and train harder and come back to be, again, the best of all time. Next time around, again going against Stone Cold, he did come out the victor. And he goes on to talk about some more WrestleMania history. Made a couple of references again to the Macho Man, to Ric Flair, and others, and brought it back around to let everybody know that at WrestleMania, the dream of that 12-year-old is going to come true when he beats John Cena. So everybody's waiting. Everybody wants it. Wants the match to take place as soon as possible. Of course, we got to wait till April 1st, but it's going to happen. Following that, we had match number 3. This was Daniel Bryan versus Zack Ryder, and Daniel Bryan got away with the win with the LeBell Lock. And then following that, we had the match between John Cena and Mark Henry. Now, John Cena, as you folks probably heard, was in a car accident earlier today, but he was in good enough shape that he was able to be in this match. Now, he got the win, but as he tried to get the attitude adjuster early on in the match, didn't quite get it, couldn't lift Mark Henry, which is no mean feat. Mark Henry is a big dude. The second time around, he did get the AA and the win, but after he got the win, The Rock came out, and which pretty much looked effortless. He lifted Mark Henry and dropped him with the rock bottom. He showed John Cena what was on his shirt, boots to asses, and then made his point, took his leave, and the crowd went wild. Everybody loved it, and The Rock took off, and point made. Now, following that, they had a segment about Maria Menounos of Extra. She was interviewing Kelly when all of a sudden, here comes Beth Phoenix and Eve, and a little push, a little shove started happening. Beth Phoenix felt like she was being disrespected by Maria Menounos, and they now have a match at WrestleMania. So it's going to be Maria Menounos versus Beth Phoenix. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a tag match between Maria Menounos and Kelly versus Beth Phoenix and Eve. So we'll see what happens with that. Should be good. Now, following that, The Miz came out, and he talked about how King Kong Bundy had previously had the biggest drop-off of WrestleMania history in terms of being able to compete at a high level versus a low level, and now it appears that the same thing, or actually what's worse, is going to happen to The Miz, because The Miz was the main event last year. This year, so far, doesn't have a match. So he talked about that for a little bit and says that he wanted to, he had issued an open challenge, wanted to have anybody come down there so that John Laurinaitis could see what he could do, and so he could earn his way onto Team Johnny for WrestleMania. Now, the Sheamus showed up and answered the call, and then proceeded to win the match with a brogue kick. So far, The Miz's plans are still derailed. We'll see what happens with that. Thinking he's going to finally wind up on some team, probably Team Johnny, but we'll see what happens. Now, following that, we had match number 6. This was Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger won this one. Dolph Ziggler ended it with a switch kick on R-Truth, and during the pin, R-Truth put his foot up on the lowest ring rope, but Vicky pushed it back off, and they got the 3 count. Now, after the match, Oksana confronted her about it. They got into a war of words, and then she shoved Vicky Guerrero on the floor. Now, they got into the ring and started arguing about it again, and wound up actually rolling around on the mat, basically trying to pull each other's hair out. So they were pulled apart by the individual tag teams, but We'll see if there's some more coming after this. Uh, but yeah, got interesting right towards the end. Now, following that, Shawn Michaels came out to the ring, and he says it's the end of an era with the match that's going to be happening with Triple H versus Undertaker. But with all this going on, everybody wants to know what Shawn Michaels actually is, what his part is going to be in it, and what he actually thinks about what's happening. People want to know if he's going to be impartial or not, and what with Triple H being his best friend for a long time, and really what his prediction is for the match. And he says with Undertaker making all this talk about the end of an era, it actually means it's basically the end of the streak. The Undertaker is more than likely going to lose. He doesn't actually say that because before he can say that, the Undertaker actually comes out and says that first of all, Shawn Michaels did enough talking last week, and that before both of those guys, before Triple H and Shawn Michaels huddle together and start making plans, and then before he can finish what he's going to say, Triple H comes out, and the War of Words begins. Triple H points out that there's been 24 Hell in a Cell matches, and the Undertaker and Triple H have actually been in 19 of them, and that during that time, Hell in a Cell has actually become Triple H's proving ground, and that he's gotten nothing besides better when he's been going through those matches. And he basically says that if the Taker wants it finished, Triple H is going to basically finish it in that ring. Taker asks, does he really have what it takes? Is he really willing to put it all on the line, everything that he has? His family, his wife, his kids, his career, his life if necessary. And Triple H says that if it means giving the Taker the end he so richly deserves, then yes, he's willing to do it. And Undertaker nods, gets ready to leave, and then just before he leaves, stops and comes back, and he asks Triple H, do you remember when I said Shawn was a better wrestler than you? He is. And then he bolts. And, well, Undertaker never actually bolts anywhere. He left very slowly, but he made his point. And, Triple H basically just stared after him, upset and angry. And Shawn Michaels is just kicking it on the side, sort of smiling to himself as the show ends. And that's where we leave it. This is, again, one more step down the road towards WrestleMania 28 on April 1st. If you haven't ordered it yet, you probably want to go ahead and do that. Now, once again, go ahead and check out Caesar Scorpio's show on Thursday night for the TNA Impact Wrestling. For myself, the Invincible Eve Vincent, take care and enjoy the rest of your week.